Hello, everyone. My name is Simran Asawa, and on behalf of Bionetwork team, I welcome you all to day one of NITW Biotechnology Alumni Meet 2021. Bionetwork is a networking community of NITW Biotechnology graduates. During and after graduation and out in the real world, everyone focuses on gaining more knowledge, expanding their skill set, technical expertise, and soft skills. On the top of that, a decisive factor in one's professional success is networking. This is where we come as the channel of connecting people with the same interests. Amid this pandemic, the only fruitful thing is how the world is able to function just over internet and a computer. We decided to take advantage of this and conduct a virtual event to provide a platform for networking amongst alumni and NITW Biotechnology students who could, I mean, in general, in today's event, we want to conduct an informal networking conference where some of the alumni of NITW Biotechnology will be sharing their journey so far, and we aim to connect all of us, basically alumni and student equally. For the same, we will be having various sections such as academic research, biotechnology industries, entrepreneurship, IT technology based services, finance, management, etc. And we have included these variety of fields as we would like to cover the plethora of directions one has after college in their respective careers. So take this opportunity to ask questions, interact with peers. Basically, as our motto says, connect, share, and grow. Now, before we get started with our first section, Academic Research Europe, I would like to share a few points with you. Please make sure that you're muted so that the interaction is clear and easier for everyone to understand. Feel free to join in and drop off as per your convenience. The event is going to be conducted in an informal setup, so please do utilize the breakout sessions for interacting with speakers and participants openly. All attendees are welcome to grab some snacks, according to their respective time zones during the meeting. And we will also be streaming the event on our Facebook page, so stay tuned and follow our pages if you haven't already. So, with this, I would like to welcome our moderator for the first session, Krishna Gupta. Krishna graduated from the batch of 2017 and is currently pursuing his doctoral studies in Dresden, Germany. Krishna, the floor is all yours.
Hi guys, Simran, thank you so much for a wonderful introduction. Uh, so I will quickly introduce myself. I'm Krishna Gupta from 2017 batch. Simran already did that. So today's this session of the next 45 minutes would be about academic research in Europe. We have two really amazing speakers today. We have Dr. Krishna Das. If Dr. Krishna can just open his screen and say hello to everyone. Hi Krishna. Hi. And we also have Sahitya Saka, and she, if she can also open her camera and say hello. Hi. Okay. So I'll quickly introduce these guys. Uh, so Dr. Krishna graduated in 2010. She is a postdoctoral scientist in Innsbruck right now in Austria. Amazing researcher, amazing work. And then now we will transfer the stage all to Krishna.
Hi everyone. I guess it's morning, so good morning, good evening. I know that we are all in different time zones. So first of all, I would really like to congratulate you for your efforts. This is a really good initiative. And throughout my career, I have always heard about how important networking is. So it's really good that you guys start so early. And so thanks a lot for organizing this event. I think all of us, the students really can benefit a lot from this. And thanks Krishna for the nice introduction. So I tried to answer most of the points that you sent by email. So as Krishna already mentioned, so I graduated from NITW, the first batch, so 2010. And before I tell a little bit more about my career path, I just wanted to tell you why I wanted to study biotech. And so the first thing that I wanted to study during my biotech was genetic engineering. So I had this in high school that I saw some documentary where they were discussing that it's possible to have cows produce human milk. And I was so fascinated. That's the only thing I remembered from the documentary, but I was so fascinated that I was like, I want to study genetic engineering and biotechnology. And when I started to look for programs, Warangal was one of the NITs that was offering it at the time of our counseling. So we were the first batch. And there was also a little bit skepticism because you then don't have seniors to ask for advice or so. But I have to say, I don't regret it. I really think it was a very good choice. So during my time in Warangal, you asked me about the internships that I did. So the two internships that I did during summer, one was in IIT Guwahati. So it was more a research internship. And what I learned was some basic molecular biology, so PCR, and also some bioinformatics, so how to blast some sequences, what is DNA, fingerprinting, and stuff like that. And another internship that I did was in Faridabad. It's a small company. It's called MedSource Ozone Bio. And what they do was to produce diagnostic kits, so kits that are used to in clinics to measure, I don't know, some enzymes in blood or like pregnancy test or autoantibodies and stuff like that. So this was a completely different experience. I saw how like small companies work, how they manufacture the kits, and how they do quality control. So it was a good experience to understand what are the other aspects that are important in a small company, like quality control, a lot of documentation and stuff like that. And after my stint at NIT Warangal, I was already considering around, I think, third year of my BTech, like what would be the next step. And since I knew that I was really interested in genetic engineering, I started to inform myself about what are the different possibilities. And the thing that caught my attention was cancer research. So the idea of using genetic engineering and biotechnology to fight cancer. And I really liked the topic a lot. And I started to look for programs. And of course, the obvious, if not the first choice, is to go to the US because there is a lot of good research happening there. But I also found this program in Germany, which was really dedicated to cancer research. So this is the major cancer biology, and the university that is offering it is called Heidelberg University. And I was just lucky. It was my first choice or the most preferred option, and I could get in. And what I liked about the time in the master's program was it was very structured, and there is the possibility to do a lot of internships and practical courses. So I can later maybe share the link for the program. And what is very nice is that they really encourage that the students go to different labs, learn different techniques, and you also get to know the scientists and the research that is going on. So you get a better idea about what are the different options for you and what you might like in the future. And that's how I also found my first student job. And after my master thesis, I decided to stay at the same institute. So it's the German Cancer Research Center in Heidelberg. And I decided to carry on with tumor immunology and do a PhD there. So again, the good thing of working at the German Cancer Research Center is it's like very good infrastructure, a lot of good scientists. You learn a lot, and they organize lectures, and there are also networking events where you meet your fellow PhD students and postdocs, and there are like really high-class scientists and Nobel laureates coming to give lectures. So this was a really good experience, and I really liked it. And but I also want to tell you a little bit about the hurdles, or like the negative, if not negative, the things that you should think about before you choose a lab is really try to figure out how good the supervisors are. So sometimes they have very nice or interesting project descriptions, but they don't always know or cannot guarantee that the project will work. So it's always a good idea to see how the other students or the alumni from this lab performed and where they are, and try to connect with them, try to get as much information. It's more important for a PhD because for that you spend a lot of time of your life. And then it's always really important that you are in a good working environment. So that's my suggestion. And so I really liked the experience. So I don't have anything like negative about the whole Heidelberg or the CAVZ experience. I really liked it, but I know from friends that it's a very important decision how to pick the lab. So please pay attention to that. And the next career step was to do either go to industry directly. So I was still considering if I wanted to go to industry or do a postdoc. And I talked to my boss, and he suggested that if you want an R&D career, it's good to do a postdoc, even if you still want to go to industry. And that's when I started looking for positions. And I found this position in Medical University of Innsbruck, where we work in a very strong collaboration with Boehringer Ingelheim. It is one of the largest pharmaceutical companies, and it has sites in Germany, in Austria, and in US. So I thought that this is a really good option, and what we work with, the topic was also very interesting for me. So that's why I decided to move to Austria, to Innsbruck. And like research-wise, I'm really happy with how things turned out. It's a lot of work, that's true, but also like I actually enjoy it. So I really like it, and it's I think that the growth that I see in myself in the last 3.5 years is amazing, and I really am happy with that. And it's always a challenge to find some work-life balance, but this is something you also learn with time. And the one thing that I might or should have maybe thought about a little bit was for people, so if you're coming from India, the residence permit, that's always an issue. So it's sometimes it's important to think about it in advance. So if you stay in a country for a longer time, it's easier to get maybe permanent residence than if you move around EU, but there are also other options. So this is something it's good to keep in mind. And for future directions, so since I already knew that I wanted to go to R&D in industry, I'm actually starting to look for jobs. I'm applying, and there is also the possibility to, like, we are discussing the possibility to transfer internally or to go to Boehringer Ingelheim. Yeah, so that's, I think, I hope I didn't take too long.
It's perfectly fine.
Yeah, and so like if I miss something, please feel free to ask questions. So thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Krishna, for this amazing. So same Z's. Thank you so much for the amazing journey which you have told us. Guys, if you have any questions, it's a very informal session, but just bombard us with a lot of questions during when the speakers are speaking. We will also have an option that you can just unmute your mic after all the speakers have spoken and then ask questions. But if you already have questions, then why wait for that time? You can already ask so many questions. And again, to Dr. Krishna, amazing talk right now. I just wanted to just say a little bit, just to add that it's often a saying that do not look for the most brilliant people in research, look for the most kind and the most fun, and often the most kind and the most fun are the most brilliant people. So Europe is an amazing place for this. With this, we'll move to the next speaker. We have Sahitya Saka, who is an oncology researcher. She graduated in 2015 and she is presently in Germany as an oncology researcher. So we will continue with her now. On to Sahitya.
Yeah. Hello everyone. Thanks for the nice introduction, Krishna. So, like, so this is Sahitya Saka, BTech Biotechnology 2015 graduate from NIT Warangal. Um, so, like, I am as of now, I am doing my PhD in yeah, I'm doing oncology research, but with the research work I carry out here in Germany, like, I'm also pursuing my PhD, and I'm almost at the end of my PhD. So, coming, I want to start from the beginning from NIT Warangal. So, as you all know, some come here by chance and some by choice. So I'm the one who came here by chance. So, but I don't know like how. But after getting into NIT, it became my choice. So I with the we have like a lot of support from the seniors. So in my third year. Third year of bachelor's, so we started like we have also we know that like a lot of seniors apply for internships abroad and like they're doing a great job. So I thought, okay, I can also apply for internships abroad. And with the like during my bachelor's third year, like Dr. Rohit Kongari, like who will be talking later, so he recruited three interns from our batch. And I was one among them, and thankfully like I feel like that was the turning point in my life. Like it gave me a lot of outlook, like how the research is like how they conduct research abroad, and how things are there. So I thought, okay, like I it was amazing experience there, like it's Center for Phage Technology, Texas A&M College Station. So with that experience and with the lab conditions there, so at that, like I don't know how it's now in our university, but at that time yeah, the research in Texas A&M University was far more better than that was in our university. So I thought, okay, let's apply for masters in USA. And yeah, I applied. So I didn't have at that time, I didn't know anything about Germany. So I thought, okay, like I will do masters and PhD in USA. And I applied, I wrote my GRE after coming back from the internship. That would be in my final year. I wrote GRE and TOEFL, and I got into UT Dallas. And then like at uh, like until then I didn't know anything about the tuition fees, and after that I got to know it's gonna be very expensive. And I thought to myself, okay, like I couldn't afford that. And I looked for other options. And thankfully, like Germany was I got to know about Germany from someone else. And there were no tuition fees, like here, like you have to pay for your living expenses, so you don't have to pay for tuition fees. So it was much cheaper. So the only reason I chose Germany was yeah, no tuition fees, like, yeah. 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 So then I applied here and I got into Ruhr University Bochum. And after I did my masters in biochemistry. So and then I decided to go for PhD. But like I talk, like Krishna, like Dr. Krishna has told that it's very important to choose a good supervisor. Like you have to ask your yeah ask the alumni, or like the students who are working there already. So but other important point in Germany I feel is the language barrier. So if you, yeah, it's nice, like I know, but it's when you are in like research or masters, you you have sometimes you have to work like from the morning to evening in lab. And sometimes there is not the opportunity to go to German language class or something like this. You have sometimes we have only 1 week per, like 1 day per week classes, or there are some intense courses, but you have to be there in the morning. So like it's I feel like I'm okay, like I can talk German, but I'm not that great. So the only problem I can see here is the language. But if you are good at learning new languages, and also it's a very good option to consider. So yeah, like the only problem I see here is the language. So but if you stay in academics, you can manage with English, because scientific language is English. And like, yeah, but if you want to work in an industry after your masters or after your PhD, it's better like to having German language skills is will be a plus point for you. So now I'm almost at I'm working on a anti-cancer therapy, and I'm almost at the end of my PhD, and I'm considering doing postdoc after this in the same lab. And yeah, in the questions you sent me, you also talked like you also asked about which university is the best university, like how to consider university in Germany. I feel yeah, here like almost all universities have the same I can say same research facilities. Not, I mean, like no university is like great and no university is not great. So you can like, it depends on your research interest. If the university is offering you a course which suits your interest, I think you can choose that university. But they say technical universities, like there are top 9 technical universities in Germany. So they say they have more money, I can say. So yeah. And yeah, and I think yeah, I addressed almost all the points. So yeah, thank you. So if you have any questions, you can just ask me.
Thank you so much for telling your story, Sahitya. Very interesting. With these two speakers, we actually got two very interesting perspectives, two interesting, really student stories, and I'm sure we are going to get more from this whole set of meeting which we are doing virtually. So stay tuned for that. And with this, we will open the question answer round. Again, you can either put the question in the chat and ask everyone, and then I would be nicely going through all the questions one by one. And on the other hand, you can also unmute yourself one by one and send and ask the questions. There's also a possibility of just raising your hand. Zoom has a raise hand feature, so you can raise your hand and then we will be asking the questions. And with this, yes, we start the question and answer round. So yeah, it's an informal thing. You can just ask questions, say hi.
Hi Krishna, hi Sahitya. Thank you so much for amazing talk. I was really looking forward to hearing from both of you, and I think it was really interesting. And the fact that you both focused a lot on how important the lab is, when you're applying for PhD or masters. I think that's truly, that's something that so everyone has to be considering.
Yeah, I have to say that I was actually, so I don't want people to think that I didn't like my PhD lab. I actually loved it. I I just know from friends that some people did not have the best experience. So this is something I think, so for me, it just happened by luck. But it's something that you should really pay attention. And also if you decide to do a PhD, no matter where, it does not hold true just for Germany. So I actually got a question that I probably did not answer in the first, like the introduction was that, what are the options after doing a PhD from Europe? And can I become a professor? So one thing you have to be aware of is that it's definitely possible, it's feasible, people do that, but the number of positions that are available for professorship is just limited. So there is a lot of competition, and then you have to be a really good scientist, but also have a good network that this is possible. And just like, there are not a lot of this permanent positions that offer professorship. So this is really always a battle, and you can never be sure. And maybe this is something that is not common knowledge, is that in Germany there is this 7-year or 8-year rule. So you can be in an academic institution, so like in a university or research institution, like as a researcher only for like 7 years. So after that, if you don't get a permanent position, 6, okay, sorry. So 6, so it's different for different countries. So if you don't get, so the main thing is that if you don't get a permanent position, then you have to leave. And this is always difficult then sometimes to find another job, because if you want to go to industry, then a very long postdoc or academic experience is not always the best thing. They look for other skills, they look for a different portfolio. So this is something to keep in mind. That it's possible, but it's also not the easiest. And one thing is that as a professor, you always like have to look for funding to fund your own group, your own research. So like there are probably other or like different ways still to pursue research and to still do science, but in a different setting. So this is something maybe you should keep in mind.
Thank you so much for the answer. Thank you so much for anyone who asked the question. Actually, also thank you for the question. It's actually very interesting to know that. Ashwin has the next question. Ashwin.
Hi, thanks both of you for the nice talk. I actually have a question regarding, let's say if someone does a PhD in the in Germany, right? So probably you guys must be having some friends who maybe move to India or maybe move to an English-speaking country, let's say for the language barrier. So do you think that having a PhD from Germany like is an advantage or is rather a disadvantage because it's of 3 years or 4 years, whereas in United States it's about 7 years, 6 to 7 years. So has any of your friend has any experience in that respect, or would you throw a light on that if possible?
So I know someone who, like, I don't know them personally. I know someone through a friend. So they moved from Germany to USA for postdoc. So they are now working in FDA. So both of them, and they say, I mean, I don't think there is any disadvantage. Like, German PhD, it has the same value like the US, or like, yeah, I guess.
Maybe I can just add. So I personally don't know anyone who went back like after doing a PhD. Yeah, I do know one person. So it was not in the biology or biotech. So I do know a person who did PhD in Germany, but he was in like organic chemistry, and he did his master's from IIT Bombay, then in Berlin, or yeah, he did his PhD, and then he also went, I think, to South Korea for a postdoc, and now he's in IIT Delhi as a professor or assistant professor. So I don't think it's a disadvantage. And regarding the number of years, um, I am not very so I don't know exactly how the program looks for US, but I think in Germany, like for our program, we didn't have so much coursework. So you really work on your project, you're really doing research from day one. You have maybe some lectures for 2 or 3 semesters, but that's it. You don't have to write exams or something. So like at least in our university, we didn't have to write additional exams. So you're really focused on your project, on your research from day one. So if it takes only 4 years, I think the amount of time you spend in the lab and in research is probably comparable.
Thank.
Add a point here. So because during masters, like there will be a lot of like lab work here, like especially my course, like I had to be almost every day in lab. Like you do have courses, so you go to your class, and then like you have our program is like you have 2 week practicals, 4 2-week practicals, 2 6-week practicals, and 3-month project and 9-month project. So I was almost all the time in lab in master. So
Wow.
if you compare masters and like if you yeah, like club masters and PhD, it's a lot of experience, like so I think yeah, it's not a disadvantage in my opinion.
Thank you so much for the answers, guys. Thank you so much for the question, Ashwin. We have next question from Vatsal. He asked to both Krishna and Sahitya, are there any publication requirements for completing a PhD in Europe? And do you need to publish papers to graduate from your PhD program?
Actually, we don't. There is not a requirement. Like, so it's not compulsory to publish papers. Like, publishing paper is an advantage because your research is already, like, yeah, there will be reviewers there, so your research is already approved. So during your defense, I think it will be an advantage. But if you don't have any publications, it's also fine. So there is no rule. So for the publications or
I think it can be different for different universities. So like where I did, it was not a requirement. We of course try always to get papers. I mean, that's for academic research, it's very important. But I do know that there are some other universities, maybe in Denmark or so, where it's probably you at least need like one first author, maybe one co-author and stuff like this. So it can be different for different universities. I can tell from our university, like the current in Austria, in Innsbruck, there is, I don't know if it's essential, but there is the possibility to do like a cumulative thesis. So if you have a first author paper and maybe another co-author, then you can put those two papers together, and then you don't have to write this big thesis. So it's easier, and a lot of people actually do that. So that's at least an option.
same with our university as well. We have that cumulative thesis thing. Yeah.
And I think also in Netherlands, I'll just add quickly. In Netherlands and Belgium, there are other requirements based on the university. Some of them ask you to co-author a grant before you finish your PhD, and in some of them they would be asking you to publish 3 papers, and then you just staple them together and give them as your thesis. So there's a lot of requirements. So each university will have their own different requirements.
At least for Germany, I can also maybe add a few points. So at least in my case, for example, in my university, we have this structured program, like we have a graduate school. So we have a requirement that you need one first author paper at least to graduate. And that's usually also limited within 6 semesters. So that's how, in my case, it works. Just to add on. Okay, continue. Over to you, Krishna. There are actually a lot of questions coming up now.
Yes. So we have next question from Simran. Simran, would you want to ask the question directly?
Sure. Hi. I just wanted to know how smooth the transition between academia and industry is, because I think Krishna mentioned that she's considering, doing her future work in Waringen, and I'm really bad at pronouncing things. So can you shed some light on that?
Sure. It's not always easy, but it also depends like what is your let's say specialization and also your experience. So I also looked for jobs after my PhD because I already knew I wanted to do or transition to industry. It was not that easy, but also like what I said, my boss also advised me that if you want to do really like a R&D job, and which is what I wanted. So he said that maybe 2 or 3 years postdoc is actually a good idea. So that's why I did it. But I do know some friends who transitioned to industry after a PhD. This is possible. From what I know, what would definitely help is to do an internship in some company. So this is the best way to get to know the people, and then they already know you. And then when you're applying, this is a very huge plus. And the advantage of doing an internship is that when you are a student, it's much cheaper for them to get you. It's for like 6 months or so. And so you cannot get an internship after you have finished your PhD. This is very uncommon. So if you have a company in mind that you would really like, there are internship programs. Just contact the HR, or if you also like, this is how our GCAPZ networking work is, that there were also other students, maybe 1 or 2-year senior who maybe did an internship, and then you could also possibly talk to those people and ask how they applied. So this is something always good to consider, that if you can do it and if you can get a place, do an internship while you're still a student, and this would definitely make it much easier to do transition.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I just one last question. Not even question, just a statement. Krishna is my alumni from both my universities because I did my master's in Heidelberg. So just putting it out there.
Which group?
I did it in Mannheim, Medical Faculty Mannheim.
Okay.
Yeah.
With dermatology or?
No, with colorectal cancer group, Katja Bredkov Henlin.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so you like Heidelberg, I hope.
Okay, so we have one question from Jasmine. Jasmine, if you are comfortable, you can ask the question directly, or we can ask it for you. Just unmute yourself.
Hello, everyone. Hi, I'm Jasmine. I just wanted to know, like, what's the procedure for applying for internships and like for masters and PhDs in the foreign universities? Like, can you shed some light on like what's the overall procedure and what's the documents and all stuff like that, and the timeline of events?
I want to answer.
Let's start with Sahitya.
Yeah. So for internships, like I can say you start from your third year. Like I say it's better you do your internship in between your third and final year of BTech. So you should start like really early, I guess. Like, if you, for example, there are these programs like Corana or MyTax. For these, like they have their own timelines. But if you want to, like apart from those, you also have the opportunity to write an email directly to a professor with your CV, like, that you are interested in, and for Germany there is this dad scholarship program for internship. So you write a professor and dad will fund you for that, because some can take you but they don't offer, like, they don't offer any money, but it will cost you. So so for Germany I think it's better to consider dad program. And yeah, so but like, you can like write to any professor, like you search for universities and go to the professor's profile and like write him with your CV that you are interested in his topic, like, but you have to go through what he's doing and like, mention some of those things, like, if you are really interested in, it's not like, you write the same body of letter for everyone, but like, you have to go through a little bit of his research and like write to him. And for that you have to start really early, maybe from starting of your third year, and maybe someone will like, and I remember one from our batch, like he wrote 300 emails to professor and he got one, like something like that. So yeah. And for after so applying for masters, uh, so final year, like in your final year you can write both. If you're going to USA, like GRE and TOEFL, but like for Europe, IELTS is enough. Most of the universities need only IELTS exam. You can also write TOEFL, they will accept, so it can come for both USA and Germany, Europe. So they don't need GRE for that. So and yeah, like in your final year you can plan for both of them and look for universities and look for the deadlines. Most of the universities, for example Germany, some have like until July, like, the deadlines, but most of them are May, or yeah, somewhere in between Jan and yeah, like, May or something like that. So you have to make sure that you have both GRE and IELTS for USA, like in your hand before December, I guess. And for Europe, it's yeah, before December you should have your IELTS in hand. And yeah, good. And I think the application process for Germany is a bit easier, like, yeah, compared to USA, I guess. So you just go to the, like, links of the universities, and they will, it it will be like perfect, like it's easy, like you have all the steps like written there, and like you can apply with your IELTS score and all. Yeah, for masters, yeah, it's that, like when you are, like when you get into masters, you will know like how to apply for PhD and all here. But yeah. And I think some universities also have, like for example, this Max Planck Institute, it has direct recruit PhD, like programs. So they, if you have a nice, I think you should have a really good GPA for that, and nice recommendation, I guess. But you can directly get into PhD, and they will, I think for 1 year they will train you with all the courses and all, and you can start with your PhD. So maybe that's also one of the option to consider. Yeah.
Would
Thank you,
Krishna
ma'am.
like to add something? Would Krishna like to add something?
So no, that's how I got the internships, just by writing to the professors. This MedSource thing, the small company that I did an internship there, I think it was by networking, not networking. So it was like someone, so family friend was working in this company, and then I found out, and so this is also an important avenue to consider. So if you know someone who is working in a company that you are interested in, they can get you in touch with someone who would accept you as an intern and like is doing something that you're interested in. And to apply to Germany, so in my case, like the master's program, it was I would say it was very straightforward. And I actually already started to put together a Word document with the links for the master's program, and also for the PhD program that I did. It is also like a program. So I applied to the program, and I can share those links. I will send the Word document out that you can circulate it. So.
So we have one question from Moidul Hassan. Would you like to ask the question directly, Moid?
Oh, yeah, sure. So my question was, if after a master's degree or a PhD abroad or anywhere, I want to work in the biotech industry or in a related field, how feasible is it, and are there like ample opportunities? Because asking specifically for for Germany and Austria or countries like those, because you guys are there and you know how the field is around there.
So maybe I can start at least to answer. So for biotech industry, so you have to remember that what I'm doing is very, I don't know, it's really focusing on research because I'm in the medical university. So if you want to go to really like a pharmaceutical company, there are different possibilities. So they hire scientists for different roles. So there is, of course, like for someone like me, it would probably be either research and development or some kind of with cancer immunotherapy. There are different things. But since we are like biotechnology, you have so much more opportunities. So there is process development, there is downstream processing, there is quality control, there is manufacturing. So for that, you would have to have a different background, and this is where the engineering part comes in. So if this is something, now that I'm looking for jobs, actually there are a lot of positions in those directions. So so this is something you should already consider right now before the next steps would definitely make the transition much easier. And if you know that, okay, the process development is something I am interested in, and then you can do the right courses and develop yourself in that direction. And one more thing that I see a lot of job posts in industry is data science. So learn R if you can, or any kind of coding language, Python, or yeah. So this is really good because also in like all of biotech research or biology research, a lot of next generation sequencing is going on, and they need people with some background in biology who can also make sense of the data to be able to process this information. And there is a really huge job market for data scientists. That's what I can recommend.
So thank you so much for the answers, Krishna. And in general, researchers are very nice people. Also, alumni are also really nice people. Please talk to us. Please talk to researchers also. Please talk to drop mails. That helps a lot. We are not bad people. We are not going to barbecue alive. That's not going to happen. So always talk to us. Keep on asking. Next time when you're applying for internships, do talk to us. Nandini, so we have 2 more minutes to finish this session. So let's be very time not very Indian, but let's do that. Uh, Nandini says that she would love to hear more about the research which Krishna and Sahitya are doing. I think all the students are really excited about listening to you guys. So definitely, I think if Tab contacts or if Bio Network contacts, we would love to have more sessions, and then you can freely talk about your love for your field and what excites you to go to the lab in the morning. We'll switch next. Nitin, again an alumni has shared amazing links about Max Planck schools. So all the students who are applying for PhDs or who want to apply for masters, you can just go through, talk to people. Again, researchers are very nice people, so you can always talk to them directly. So if you have internship opportunities, there are a lot of internship opportunities which Max Planck provides. Uh, we have one
Yeah,
question.
just to add in that. So yeah, I am also in Heidelberg apparently. Yeah, so like as Sahitya said, like I also joined like this program, which is direct track with masters and PhD. So I will be doing PhD here, and yeah, everything is like handsomely paid. You get really good amount of money, and in this internship also you get like fair, yeah, good amount of money too. So yeah, like it's a new program, so like not too many people applies, and but it's a really good program. So like really good scientists. So in the list of fellow there is one Nobel laureate. So you can see like how big this program is, but still it's in pilot phase, so not many people know about this. So it's a good opportunity. You will like some of you will get at least internship opportunity, or like if you're interested in doing masters or PhD, so you can still apply, and if you are good enough, then they will surely select you.
Thank you so much, guys, for answering this.
I'm
With
sorry, I have a question here. Can I ask?
uh, I think we're running a little bit short of time.
Well, I'll make
Who's
it really quick.
okay? Fine,
Or
perfect.
can I just leave it message?
Yeah, you can leave a message and we will stay in touch. We are
Take it.
nice
Let's take
people.
it. Let's take it. Let's take it, Krishna.
Let's take it. Let's take it.
Okay, yeah. So, for a final year it's January now, almost late January, and who's wanting to do masters, almost all the deadlines are passed now. So what are suggestions you would say? I did read a lot of cons about the spring intake. So could you like clarify a lot more on this, like for late admissions and when the deadlines have passed?
I mean, for German, if I especially like in our university, they have deadline until July 15th for October intake. So you can write IELTS like in this time and apply for like there are few universities who have deadlines like July, because I was late because I used to like it's I thought I will go to USA, but like out of like nowhere, like I had to go to Germany. I had just 1 week to apply. That was in July. So July or June 15th. So sorry, I'm not sure July or June 15th, but yeah, there are a lot of colleges who have like deadlines in June or so. So it's
Maybe
not
I
too
can
late.
just add one short sentence. So the deadlines are for programs. So you can still like ask professors for internships. So this would still help you get into the next semester or the next academic year. So you can still write professors and tell them that you're interested in the research. And this is once you are there, it's very easy to then form a network and apply.
Oh, okay. Also, which countries should I be watchful in Europe for if I'm planning on applying late? If, I'm someone who's wanting to write IELTS now, to GRE now. So, which countries in Europe I can possibly look out?
So in Heidelberg, I did not need. So I did write a GRE, also TOEFL, but for my program it was actually not important. So they have this interview, and there they can assess that you like, yeah, and by this time they know that like for us English is like this like second language, so it's it was not a big deal in Germany. And also I know from other friends this is not an issue, so don't worry about IELTS or TOEFL. Just try to contact the labs. Or
Yeah, some universities don't even need IELTS here. If your education is in English, like for the past some years, I don't know. Yeah, so you can do that.
Oh, thank you so much, Dee. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll quickly add. Usually, the first thing when you listen to your seniors who are in NIT Warangal, and when they say that you have to study abroad for masters, if you want to apply for PhD, you have to first give GRE and TOEFL. It is not the right way. The first thing is finding the right university which you find the modules and the courses would be interesting for you. Focus on that, and if the requirement says that you require GRE or TOEFL, create a list of them. If you can escape that, try to escape that. And if it is like an urgent requirement and a compulsory requirement, only then think about giving examinations. Otherwise, and also talk to the admissions counselors. Everyone's getting paid. They are getting paid for answering your questions. So ask them questions. That would solve a lot of your problem. And yes, with this.
Oh, sorry, I
Yes,
wanted to
okay.
add something about the GRE thing.
Yes.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Hi, Alika.
Yeah. Okay. So like you said that like you said that if you know the list of universities before doing your exams like GRE, then actually you can just put the university name in the GRE application and they'll send it out for free. So you kind of
For free.
save
Yeah.
some application money there.
Yeah. Seeing that money going was a very bad time for each application. Thank you, Alika, for joining. Okay, now, perfect. So with this, we conclude our session on research opportunities in academic opportunities in Europe. And we have more amazing sessions. We just listened to two good people, amazing people. And thank you so much for joining this session. Please ask us more questions, and thank you so much.